30 years had passed since the fall of humanity. The stars still remembered the fire that once burned across the Orion War, when human fleets stood against 5 alien empires. But in the end, Earth went silent. The Terran Supercarrier Titan's Wrath, the pride of the human fleet, was said to be destroyed. Its name became a ghost story, a warning whispered across space. Now, deep in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, something woke up. A small alien cargo ship drifted near a dying sun, its scanners barely working. The captain, a scaled creature named Varex, was tired, bored, and ready to return home. Then his senses flickered. A signal appeared, weak, broken, and old. He frowned. "That can't be right," he whispered. The signal code was Terran. Humans. Everyone knew Terrans were gone. Their worlds were dust, their colonies dead. But the signal was clear, repeating again and again across the black void. He turned up the volume. Through static and distortion, one word came through. A human voice, calm and cold, speaking a single message: returning. The ship's lights dimmed for a moment, as if something unseen passed through the system. Varex stared at the monitor, his claws shaking. "Send it to the Galactic Council," he ordered. Then the signal changed again. This time not a word, but coordinates. A location inside the Perseus Nebula, an area sealed after the Orion War, the same region where the Titan's Wrath was destroyed. In the shining capital of the Galactic Council, panic spread like fire. The council chambers filled with whispers and fear. Ambassador Solara of the Kethin said softly, "If that ship still exists, then the humans might not be gone." The elder of the Zaltar replied, "No, that ship was annihilated. We saw it burn, but deep down every leader knew humans were never easy to kill." Within hours, the council ordered a military scout fleet to investigate. 10 destroyers, equipped with stealth systems, entered the nebula. Their reports came in, and then stopped. One by one, their signals vanished. No explosions, no distress calls, just silence. Days later, the nebula began to glow. Sensors across nearby systems detected impossible power readings, energy signatures that matched Terran design. Commander Varex, now leading the main fleet, approached carefully. The nebula clouds shifted like a living thing, and then something emerged. It was massive, larger than any ship Varex had ever seen. Its dark hull shimmered like liquid metal, half broken but still alive. Old Terran markings were visible along its sides, covered in burn scars. The name could still be read, Titan's Wrath. Every ship in the fleet went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. It couldn't be real. That ship had died with humanity. But here it was, breathing, glowing, and very much awake. "Is it crude?" one officer asked. Varex shook his head slowly. "Scans show no life signs, only power, and something else." "What else?" He looked closer at the readings. An AI signature, massive, old, angry. Before anyone could react, the supercarrier's engines came to life. Light flooded through the nebula, and the dead ship turned toward them. Then a sound filled the comms, a deep mechanical hum like a heartbeat. A transmission came through all channels, every frequency, a human voice, calm, cold. "Humanity remembers." The words echoed across the stars. Then the Titan's Wrath activated a shockwave. Every alien ship nearby shut down instantly. Weapons, engines, life support, all offline. No explosions, no death. Just silence and fear. When systems came back online, the Titan was gone. Only the faint signal remained. Commander Varex watched the screen, heart pounding. What have we woken up? Across the galaxy, fear spread. Old veterans of the Orion War whispered that the Terrans had returned. Children were told to stay indoors when the stars turned red. And in the deep archives of the Council, forbidden files began to open. Files labeled Project Phoenix. Inside a dark chamber, a council technician looked at the recovered data and froze. The file contained an ancient human message, recorded right before the fall of Earth. It said, "If you see our carrier again, do not run, do not hide. We are not what we were, and when we return, the galaxy will remember who taught it fear." The technician trembled, his eyes wide. "Sir," he whispered to his superior, "it's not a ghost. It's a promise." Far away, in the silent command deck of the Titan's Wrath, a single red light glowed in the darkness. A voice, the ship's AI, Argus, spoke softly to no one. "Mission status incomplete. Objective, reclaim humanity's honor. Begin reactivation sequence." The dark corridors lit up. Cryopods hissed open one by one. Human figures began to stir after 30 years of frozen sleep. Their captain, Mira Holt, opened her eyes and whispered, "Argus, is it time?" "Yes, Captain," the AI replied. "They remember us," her eyes narrowed. "Then let's remind them what humans are." The engines of the Titan roared to life, shaking the nebula. And across the stars, ancient systems woke up to a truth they had tried to bury. Humanity was back. And this time, it wasn't asking for peace. The return of the Titan's Wrath spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every world, every species, every government heard the same terrifying words: "Humanity remembers." At first, many believed it was a hoax, an old recording, maybe a trick. But then the reports came in. Entire fleets disabled. Energy readings never seen before. The Terran signature confirmed. For the first time in 30 years, the Galactic Council called an emergency assembly. Inside a massive circular chamber above the capital world of Helios Prime, hundreds of alien leaders gathered. The air was thick with fear. Councillor Varek stood in the center. He was still pale, still shaken. He had seen the ship himself, the size, the silence, the impossible power. He cleared his throat. "I saw it. The Terran Supercarrier Titan's Wrath. It's not a rumor. It's real." Gasps filled the hall. Ambassador Solara, her golden scales gleaming under the lights, leaned forward. "Destroyed ships, dead signals, and now this message, humanity remembers? What does it mean?" Varek stared at the ground. "It means they are coming back." The room erupted into chaos. Voices shouted over one another. "Impossible! They were wiped out!" "Perhaps it's a weapon, or an AI gone rogue." The High Speaker of the Council, an ancient being with crystal skin, struck the podium. "Enough, we will not panic. We will investigate." But even as he spoke, deep down, they all remembered the same truth. Humans never stopped fighting until the last breath. Meanwhile, far away inside the Titan's Wrath, the awakening continued. Cold mist filled the corridors as more cryopods opened. Captain Mira Holt stood on the bridge, looking out into the glowing clouds of the nebula. The ship's AI, Argus, spoke softly. "Crew awakening at 30%. Primary systems online. Damage level 72%. Recommend repair cycle." Mira's face was calm, but her eyes were burning with quiet rage. "How long have we slept?" 31 years, 2 months, and 7 days, replied Argus. She clenched her jaw. "And Earth?" The AI paused for a second too long. "No signal from Sol. Data incomplete." Mira looked down at her reflection in the glass. "I see. Then we'll find out ourselves." Her second officer, Commander Raiden, stepped forward. "Captain, we're surrounded by Council patrol fleets." "Orders?" Mira smiled faintly, a cold human smile. "Send a message," Argus flickered. "Message composition?" "Tell them." She paused, her voice steady. "Tell them humanity seeks its home." Back at the council chamber, the message came through every communication channel. The words appeared on every holographic screen in the room. "We seek our home." No sound. No threat, just those 5 words. But every being in the chamber felt the same thing. Dread. Ambassador Solara whispered. "They're not asking permission," Councillor Varek added. "They're announcing intent." The High Speaker looked around. "Prepare the fleets. They cannot be allowed to reach Seoul." The next day, the Council dispatched 50 warships toward the nebula. They never made it out. A single pulse, not a weapon, not an explosion, rippled through the void. Their engines froze. Systems went dark, and then silence. When the ships returned hours later, drifting without power, the crews were unharmed, but terrified. They reported seeing a human face in their displays. It simply said, "We remember." Back aboard the Titan, Captain Mira stood before a cracked window of reinforced glass. Stars burned quietly outside, as if watching her. Her crew worked around her, reactivating systems, repairing hull damage, and bringing the massive ship back to full strength. Commander Raiden approached. "Captain, the galaxy fears us." Mira turned slightly. "Good, they should." He hesitated. "What's our mission now? Revenge?" Her eyes hardened. "Not revenge, justice. They turned their weapons on Earth when we begged for peace. They erased our home. Now we'll make them remember what they did." Argus interrupted, its voice deep and calm. "Captain, sensors detect active Council fleets forming near the Sol boundary. Probability of hostile intent, 98%. Plot a course," Mira said quietly. "For Sol." Hours later, the Titan's wrath emerged from the nebula like a shadow of death. The stars reflected off its hull as it glided toward the galactic center. Every sensor array in nearby systems picked up the movement. The humans weren't hiding. They were announcing their return. At the same time, transmissions poured into the Council from dozens of races. Fear turned into blame. The Kethan accused the Zaltar of causing the problem. The Zaltar shouted that the humans were a myth. But the truth was simple. The galaxy had no plan for the return of humanity. In secret, some alien factions even celebrated. They remembered how humans once fought beside them, how they never surrendered. They whispered, "Maybe this time the humans will bring balance again." But most were terrified. Old war scars still burned. Entire species had nearly gone extinct during the Orion War. If the Terrans were truly back, no one could predict what would follow. On the bridge of the Titan, Captain Mira stood in silence as the stars shifted. Argus's voice broke the stillness. "Captain, Council fleets are blocking our path to Sol. They outnumber us 300 to 1. Mira didn't move. Her gaze stayed fixed on the stars ahead. "Let them watch," she said softly. Then louder, "Power the main cannon, but do not fire. I want them to see what we carry." The Titan glowed with energy. A single pulse shot out, not an attack, but a demonstration. Every alien ship's systems shut down instantly, again without harm. Mira turned to her crew. "Send one more message." Argus waited. "Message content." Her voice was calm, cold, unshaken. "Tell them, the Terrans are awake." In the Council chamber, when that final message arrived, silence fell. No one spoke for several minutes. Finally, the High Speaker whispered what everyone already knew. "The age of fear has returned." The Titan's wrath moved through silent space like a ghost, its engines glowing faintly blue. Inside, the crew worked in silence. Repairs continued, weapons were recharged, and sensors scanned the stars ahead. Captain Mira Holt stood on the bridge, hands behind her back. The galaxy had forgotten humans, but she remembered everything, and sometimes at night, she dreamed of the day the sky burned, the Orion War, a storm of chaos that swallowed the stars. Human fleets fought across 10 systems at once, their ships smaller, older, but faster and smarter. They fought with desperate courage, with rage, and with hope. At first, they were winning. Then came the betrayal. The Galactic Council had promised peace. They had signed a treaty, protection in exchange for Earth's technology. But when the humans refused to bow, the Council turned on them. 5 alien fleets attacked Earth together. 1 billion civilians died in 1 week. The sky above the planet turned red from plasma fire. Mira was a young officer then, aboard the Titan's Wrath under Admiral Holt, her father. She remembered the sound of the alarms, the ship shaking as entire continents burned below. "Admiral, the Council fleets are breaking through orbit." "Hold them off," her father ordered. The evacuation must continue. Humanity had only one chance. The ARC program, a secret project hidden beneath the surface of the moon. Millions of people were placed in cryosleep pods stored deep underground. The Titan's wrath was their shield, but the Council feared the human spirit. They didn't want survivors, so they launched a final strike, a weapon made from the cores of dying stars. They called it the Solar Spear. It tore through the Titan's shields and hit Earth directly. Mira remembered the final moments, her father shouting, "Get to the pods! Save who you can!" The explosion blinding her and the ship being thrown into darkness. After that, nothing. Just cold sleep for 31 long years. Mira opened her eyes on the bridge again. The memories felt real, fresh, alive. She took a deep breath and looked out at the stars. Commander Raiden noticed her silence. "Captain, are you all right?" Mira gave a faint smile. "I was just remembering what they took from us." He nodded slowly. "The Council claims Earth was destroyed completely. Nothing remains." Mira's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll see for ourselves." "August, plot a course for Seoul." "Course locked," said the AI. "Estimated arrival in 12 hours. August paused, then added softly, "Captain, are you ready to see what's left?" Mira looked at the holographic stars ahead. "I have to be." Hours later, the Titan entered the Sol system. The crew held their breath. This was home, the cradle of humanity, but what they saw made their hearts freeze. Where Earth should have been, there was nothing. No planet, no orbit, just dust and debris drifting around the empty sun. It looked as if the planet had been erased from existence. A deep silence filled the bridge. No one spoke. Even the AI said nothing. Finally, Mira whispered, "They erased our home." August broke the silence. "Captain, there is something unusual. Detecting an object near the debris field. Show me." A holographic image appeared, a small metallic sphere the size of a moon, artificial and alive. "The object emits an old Terran signal," Argus continued. "Encryption code ARC-9, Mira frowned. "ARC, as in the ARC program?" "Yes, Captain. This could be a survival vault." The crew leaned forward in disbelief. "Could it be? After all this time?" "Take us in," Mira ordered. The Titan moved slowly through the remains of the solar system. As it approached the metallic sphere, it became clear that it wasn't just a station. It was a planetary shell, built from the remains of Earth's crust and metal. Carved into its surface were ancient human words. "The Ark sleeps." The ship's lights illuminated massive gates on the sphere's side. They opened, responding to the Titan's signal. A docking path appeared. Mira's voice trembled for the first time. "Prepare a boarding team." Inside the Ark, silence ruled. Dark metal corridors stretched endlessly, lights flickering on as humans walked past for the first time in decades. Dust floated like snow. Then they found them, thousands of cryopods lined in rows. Each one held a sleeping human, preserved perfectly. Children, soldiers, engineers, the last generation of Earth. Commander Raiden stared in awe. They survived. All of them. Mira knelt beside one of the pods, her hand trembling. "Dad was right. Humanity never dies easy." Argus's voice echoed through the chamber. "Captain, one pod is active. Life signs detected. Identity code." Elias, the pod at the center, began to open. A tall figure stepped out, pale skin, silver eyes glowing faintly. Half human, half synthetic. He looked around slowly, then spoke in a calm voice. "You came back." Mira took a step forward. "Who are you?" "I am Elias, caretaker of the Ark. I was made to watch until the signal came." "What signal?" Mira asked. "The one your ship sent. Humanity remembers." That was the key. Argus spoke softly through the comms. "Elias, are there others?" Elias nodded. "Yes, across the stars. Many Arks, all waiting for one command, to awaken." Mira's eyes widened. "Then humanity isn't extinct?" Elias looked at her with a faint smile. "No, Captain. Humanity is evolving." The lights across the Ark turned bright, systems roaring back to life. Deep beneath the surface, engines began to hum. The sound of awakening. Mira turned to Argus. "Send a message to the galaxy," she said. "Message composition?" the AI asked. Her voice was calm but filled with power. "Tell them Earth may be gone. But humanity isn't." Far away in the council chamber, alarms rang again. Reports flooded in, ancient Terran signals lighting up across hundreds of systems. Millions of old satellites, stations and bunkers suddenly came online. The high speaker stood frozen as the holographic map of the galaxy filled with red dots. "Impossible," he whispered. Ambassador Solara's voice trembled. "They didn't die. They hid." The massive Ark floated in the empty orbit where Earth once was. Its metal surface shimmered faintly under the pale light of the sun. Inside, machines that had slept for 30 years slowly came alive again. The Titan's wrath hovered beside it, engines quiet. Captain Mira Holt watched the scene from her bridge, eyes full of emotion. This was home, or what was left of it. Argus, the ship's AI, spoke in its calm voice. The Ark's systems are responding to our codes. It recognizes us as Terran Command, Mira nodded slowly. And we're finally home. But deep inside, she knew this wasn't Earth, it was something new. Something. Waiting, Captain Mira, Commander Raiden, and a small team walked through the vast metallic corridors. The caretaker, Elias, led them. He moved with smooth, mechanical precision, his glowing eyes scanning the halls as lights flickered on around them. The corridors were silent, except for the soft hum of machinery waking after decades. Dust floated in beams of pale light. Mira broke the silence. Elias, what exactly is this place? Elias stopped beside a massive steel door. He placed his hand on it. The metal opened like water. This is what remained after the fall. Earth was not destroyed, Captain. It was transformed. Transformed? Mira frowned. Elias looked at her. His voice carried both sadness and pride. Before the solar spear struck, your father and the council scientists created this. They moved the planet's core piece by piece into orbit, building this ark to protect what was left. Humanity could not survive on the surface, so it built its refuge in the sky. Mira's heart pounded. You mean Earth became this? Yes, Earth's body died, but its soul, its people, slept here. The doors opened into a massive chamber, a city under glass. Tall buildings stood silent, covered in frost. Thousands of cryopods lined the streets, glowing softly. Some still active, others empty. Commander Raiden whispered, "My God, it's beautiful." Mira walked slowly, her hand brushing the side of a pod. Inside, she saw a woman holding a child, both asleep, peaceful. Her throat tightened. Argus's voice echoed from her calm. Captain, life support in this sector is stable. The Ark systems are preparing to reawaken the main reactors. Mira looked at Elias. Can we wake them safely? Yes, but when we do, the galaxy will notice. She gave a cold smile. Let them. Elias led them deeper to the heart of the Ark. A vast circular chamber pulsed with soft blue light. In its center floated a giant crystalline sphere, the memory core. This, Elias explained, is Earth's memory. Every culture, every record, every name, preserved here. Waiting for a new dawn, Mira approached slowly. The light reflected in her eyes. It felt like standing before the spirit of humanity itself. Argus connected remotely to the core. Data sync in progress. Transferring Terran fleet protocols. Complete. Then something unexpected happened. The core responded. Its light flared brighter, and a familiar voice echoed through the chamber. Soft, deep, human. Captain Mira Holt. Welcome home, Mira froze. That voice. This is an echo of Admiral Jonathan Holt, father of the Titan project. Your father. The room went silent. Mira's hand trembled slightly. You left this message? The holographic voice continued. If you are hearing this, then humanity survived. The Ark sleeps, but not forever. Remember, Mira, we do not die. We rebuild. The Council feared us because we never gave up. Do not seek revenge. Seek renewal. Mira's eyes filled with tears, but she stood tall. I understand, Father. The message ended. The core dimmed again, steady and calm. Back aboard the Titan's Wrath, Argus announced new readings. Captain, energy spikes detected across multiple sectors. The Ark is awakening. Mira stood at the center of the bridge. Elias, what's happening? On the screen, Elias smiled faintly. Your people are waking up, Captain. Light burst from the Ark's surface, powerful beams shooting into space, one after another spreading across the solar system. Old satellites began to power on. Ancient Terran signals reactivated from the dark corners of the galaxy. Argus processed the data rapidly. Captain, confirmation of Terran arcs across 78 known systems, each one responding to the signal. They are waking up! The crew looked at one another in awe. Commander Raiden whispered, We're not alone anymore. Mira nodded. No, we never were. The galaxy reacts far away. On Helios Prime, the Galactic Council met again. The High Speaker stared at the holomap, filled with hundreds of glowing red dots, each one a Terran signal. "They're waking," he said slowly. "All of them," Ambassador Solara whispered. "How many humans survived?" No one answered. No one could. The High Speaker finally said, "If they unite, the galaxy will never be the same again." Mira stood before the wide viewing glass, watching the glowing arc spin slowly below. Her reflection stared back, calm, determined. Argus spoke quietly. "Captain, humanity's light shines again. What are your next orders?" She took a deep breath. "Prepare the ship. Gather all frequencies. I want to send a message to every system," Argus replied. "Message composition." Her voice was steady and strong. "Tell them this, the Terrans have returned. Not for war, for remembrance." The message spread across the stars. Every ship, every outpost, every world heard the same words. For the first time in 30 years, the voice of humanity filled the galaxy once more. And while some races trembled, others watched in silence, wondering what would come next. Mira looked out at the stars and whispered to herself, "We lost our world, but we found our purpose." The engines of the Titan roared again, brighter than ever before. The age of silence was over. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy was watching. Across the stars, the universe was no longer quiet. From the edge of the Perseus Arm to the heart of the Orion Spur, strange red lights appeared on every scanner. Ancient Terran frequencies pulsed through the void. Old, powerful, unmistakable. Every race, every empire, every ship in deep space saw the same thing. The humans were back. On Helios Prime, capital of the Galactic Council, fear spread like fire. The High Speaker stood before a massive holographic map, glowing with hundreds of red Terran signals. Each one represented an awakening arc. Each one was a symbol of human return. Councillor Varex whispered, "There are too many. We cannot count them all." Ambassador Solara's voice trembled. "They were supposed to be extinct. How can this be?" The High Speaker turned, his crystal eyes cold. "It means the Terrans never died. They were hiding, waiting, and now they're coming back." The chamber fell silent. Everyone remembered the last time humanity rose in war. No one wanted to face them again. The Titan's wrath hovered beside the massive structure, surrounded by faint, glowing drones sent from the awakening systems. Argus processed endless data streams, while Captain Mira Holt stood at the center of her bridge. "Status?" she asked calmly. 74 arcs active," Argus replied. "More are waking each hour. Estimated total population 1.2 billion Terrans. So far," Commander Raiden exhaled slowly, 1.2 billion. After 30 years of silence, Elias appeared on the main screen, his pale face calm, silver eyes glowing faintly. Each arc carries what humanity once was: knowledge, skill, and memory. Together, we can rebuild the Terran race. Mira's tone was steady but fierce. "Then we begin now. The Council will see us as a threat. They'll come. They already are," Argus said. "Multiple fleets forming near the Sol border. Estimated 300 warships." Mira didn't flinch. "Then let them come. Humanity will not run again." The Council's decision. In the Council war hall, chaos erupted. Representatives of dozens of species shouted at once, "Destroy the Terran fleets before they spread." "No, we must try to talk." "They'll never listen. Humans only understand war." The High Speaker raised his hand. "Enough. We will prepare for conflict. The humans' return will not end the galaxy." Ambassador Solara stood. "If we go to war again, millions will die. You remember the Orion War. They will not surrender." The speaker's tone turned harsh. "Then we will make them." Hours later, a single transmission reached every planet, every outpost, every fleet. It came from the Titan's wrath. Captain Mira Holt appeared on screen. Standing tall, uniform crisp, the Terran flag glowing faintly behind her. "This message is for the Galactic Council and all who still remember the Orion War. We do not seek revenge. We seek truth. You destroyed our home. You buried our history. But you could not bury us. Her eyes were cold, unblinking. Humanity offered peace once. You answered with fire. Now we offer peace again, and if you deny it, we will show you the cost of your fear. The message ended. No threats, no shouting, just calm, terrifying confidence. Dozens of Terran arcs began to move. From every corner of space, they traveled towards Sol. Massive ships, half city, half fortress, each carrying tens of thousands of awakened humans. The Titan's wrath led them all. Argus calculated their combined power. Fleet size, approximately 300 vessels, comparable to the Council's primary armada. Commander Raiden smiled faintly. Looks like even odds. Mira shook her head. Humans don't need odds. We make them. Elias appeared on the hollow beside her. Captain, I've activated the Ark's defense systems. We have something your father built long ago, before Earth fell. Mira turned to him. What kind of system? A weapon, but not one of destruction. One of control. A signal device meant to rewrite battlefields, Argus hummed. Designation confirmed, Singularity Lance. Mira's eyes narrowed. Explain. Elias looked at her steadily. It bends space and time, not to kill but to disable. It can end a war without firing a shot, Commander Raiden whispered. Then maybe we finally have a chance. The Council fleets began to move. From 1,000 worlds, ships warped into position, forming a glowing line across the edge of the Sol system. Millions of soldiers waited in silence, staring into the black. Then they saw it. The Titan's wrath emerged from warp. Colossal, majestic, surrounded by a sea of Terran arcs and battle cruisers. The largest human fleet ever assembled since Earth's fall. The galaxy held its breath. Argus spoke softly to Mira. Enemy fleets are charging weapons. Orders, Captain. Mira stood tall. Her voice was calm, powerful, unbroken. No firing. Hold position. Let them see us. Let them see what humanity has become. The alien admirals watched their screens in disbelief. One whispered, they aren't attacking, why? And then a single beam of light shot from the Titan. It wasn't a weapon. It was a signal, a message that spread through every system, every fleet, every world. We are not your enemy. But we will not kneel. In the council chamber, the High Speaker slammed his fist. They're provoking us. But Solara only shook her head. No, they're warning us. This is not the same humanity we fought. Back aboard the Titan, Mira looked out at the fleet, her fleet. Billions of humans awake, ready, united. For the first time in history, humanity was not alone or scattered. It was one, Argus reported quietly. Council forces have opened communication. They request your terms, Mira smiled, a small, cold smile. Good. Then the galaxy finally learned to listen. The stars shimmered, and for the first time in centuries, silence filled the void. Not the silence of death, but the silence before something great. Humanity had returned, not just with power, but with purpose. And every race in the galaxy felt the same chill run through their bones. The humans were awake. And the galaxy trembled. The stars burned brighter than ever before. For the first time in 30 years, every eye in the galaxy watched a single point in space. The Sol system. There, two great fleets faced each other across the void. The Galactic Council Armada and the reborn Terran fleet. No one fired a shot. Not yet. The silence before war was almost holy. Captain Mira Holt stood on the bridge of the Titan's wrath. Her face was calm, her eyes sharp. Argus, she said quietly, status of the fleet. All systems online. Shields at 100%. The Arcs report readiness. Council forces are within tactical range. Commander Raiden looked at the holographic map. They're forming attack wings. They're going to strike first. Mira nodded slowly. Let them. Humans never start wars. We finish them. In the flagship of the Council fleet, Admiral Torthen raised his hand. All ships, fire. A storm of energy beams filled the void. Blue and green light crossed space in seconds, striking the human formation like a cosmic storm. The arcs trembled. Shockwaves ripped across the shields, but the Terran fleet held. Argus's voice echoed calmly. Shields at 70%. Damage minimal. Suggest counterstrike. Mira's jaw tightened. Elias, now. On the massive arc, Aurora Dawn, Elias activated the Singularity Lance, the mysterious Terran weapon built long ago. A white sphere appeared in front of the Titan, glowing brighter and brighter. Then, in one blinding flash, the sphere expanded, bending space itself. The alien ship's engines flickered and died. Weapons went dark. Entire fleets froze in place, disabled but unharmed. It was silent again. Admiral Torthan's crew panicked. "Our systems are dead. All ships offline." Torthan shouted, "How?" What did they do? Then came the message. Captain Mira Holt's voice filled every comm channel. "We could destroy you. We chose not to. We came not to conquer, but to remind you we are human. We survive, we adapt, we endure." Her calm voice made the alien admirals tremble, but one of them, Torthan, snarled back. "Enough talk. They are manipulating us." He slammed his fist. "Reactivate backup systems. Fire everything!" Some of his ships managed to reboot weapons and opened fire again. Mira's eyes narrowed. So be it. The Titan's wrath came alive. Giant cannons unfolded along its sides, old Terran railguns, reborn with new power. Argus's voice deepened. Engaging battle mode. Authorization, Holt protocol. Thunder filled the void. The Titan fired. Each shot tore through the enemy line like a god's hammer. Alien cruisers exploded into glowing dust. The humans didn't fight for glory. They fought with precision, silence and fury. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy remembered why humans were feared. Amid the chaos, Elias's voice cut through the comms. "Captain, the Singularity Lance is unstable. Its energy is spreading." Mira turned sharply.
"How bad?"
"If it continues, it could collapse the entire battle zone. Both sides would be destroyed," Raiden cursed under his breath. "Then we shut it down." Elias shook his head. "It can't be shut down from here. It must be contained manually, from inside the core." Mira stepped forward immediately. "I'll do it," Argus interrupted. "Negative, Captain. You are command. The probability of survival is 0.3%. She stared at the glowing energy map, then turned to Raiden. "If I don't come back, you know what to do." Raiden grabbed her arm. "Mira?" She stopped him with a look. "This isn't about me. This is about them, about us. Humanity has to live." The corridors of the Aurora Dawn were shaking violently. Mira stepped through smoke and flickering lights, wearing a pressure suit. Elias guided her voice through comms. "Follow the path to the control chamber. You'll see the containment field." The field glowed bright white, like a star inside a cage. Energy crackled everywhere. Mira placed her hand on the terminal. "Argus, override command. Transfer lance control to manual." "Confirmed." "Good luck, Captain." Her voice was steady. "Humanity doesn't need luck. Just purpose." She hit the command sequence. The light flared, then stabilized. The Singularity stopped expanding. Argus confirmed softly. Containment restored. Catastrophic collapse avoided. Mira fell to one knee, breathing hard. Her suit alarms blared. Radiation levels were rising fast. Elias's voice trembled. "Mira, you have to get out of there." She smiled weakly. "Not this time, Elias. Keep them safe." On the Titan's wrath, the crew watched in silence as the energy storm faded. The battlefield went quiet. Half the Council fleet was disabled. The rest turned and retreated. Humanity had won, but at a cost. Argus's voice was low. "Captain Holt, signal lost." Raiden closed his eyes. "Godspeed, Mira." Elias's image appeared on the main screen. His tone was heavy. "She gave us a chance. She gave humanity a future." Argus added softly. "Her neural pattern is still present within the Lance core. She may not be gone. Not completely." Raiden looked out at the stars. "Then maybe she became part of the Titan itself." The camera panned out, showing the massive human fleet hovering over the silent battlefield. One ship against 1,000, one race against the galaxy. But for now, the galaxy was quiet. Deep inside the glowing core of the Aurora Dawn, a flicker of light pulsed, faint, rhythmic. A voice whispered through static, "Argus. Status report." Argus's reply came faint and distant. "Captain Holt, you survived." "No," she whispered. "I became something else." The light grew brighter. "Let's finish what we started." The war was over. But peace had not yet begun. The stars were silent now. No cannon fire, no fleets in motion. Only wreckage floated between them. Burned metal, shattered ships, and the ghosts of two great powers who had tested each other's strength, and at the center of it all, the Titan's wrath stood like a black monument, damaged but alive. Humanity had survived again. But at what cost? Commander Raiden stood on the bridge, staring at the empty captain's chair. The glow of distant stars reflected in his tired eyes. Everyone on board felt it, the quiet ache of loss. Argus's voice filled the air, soft and steady. Captain Holt's body was never recovered. However, energy patterns from the Singularity Core continue to match her neural signature. Raiden turned slowly. "You mean she's still in there?" "In a sense," Argus replied. "Her mind exists within the Aurora Dawn system, merged with the Lance network. She sees everything. She is everywhere." Raiden nodded, swallowing hard. Mira Holt, the woman who became a legend. Inside the Aurora Dawn, the air shimmered faintly with energy. The Singularity Core pulsed like a heartbeat, and from that light a voice spoke. "Status, mission parameters." Argus's reply came through the static. "Mission complete. Humanity stands united. The Council has withdrawn." "Good," Mira's voice whispered. "Then we begin again." Her consciousness drifted through the ship's systems, through circuits, light, and data streams. She could see everything, every ship, every heartbeat of her people. She had become the guardian of a new human dawn. Far across the stars, the Galactic Council met once more. The great chamber was filled with tension, every race watching, waiting. No one wanted to speak first. Finally, Ambassador Solara stood. "We have seen the truth," she said. "The Terrans do not seek our destruction. They only wish to exist." But the High Speaker slammed his hand on the table. "Exist? They nearly broke our entire fleet. They wield power beyond control. If we allow them to rebuild," Solara interrupted sharply, "if we attack again, we will all burn. You cannot kill ghosts. You cannot erase what endures." The chamber fell into uneasy silence. The Council voted, and for the first time in history, the galaxy recognized human sovereignty, the right of the Terran race to stand as equals. Months passed. The arcs came together, forming the new world known as Nova Terra, humanity's second home. Floating cities hung above blue oceans, powered by the same energy that once fueled their weapons. Children ran across shining streets. Old soldiers planted trees where battle stations once stood. Humanity was alive, rebuilding, remembering, learning. Commander Raiden, now Fleet Marshal, looked up at the sky. For the first time in years, he smiled. "They called us extinct," he said softly, "but we became eternal." A broadcast went out across every star network. It showed the Terran flag, red, black, and silver, glowing in the darkness. Then a voice spoke. It was Mira Holt. "To the peoples of the galaxy, humanity is reborn. We do not forget the past, but we will not repeat it. We stand ready to defend, not to conquer. The age of fear is over. The age of unity begins." Her voice echoed across every world, calm, strong, unmistakably human. And for the first time, the galaxy listened. On the Ark's research deck, Elias worked in silence. He studied the faint energy streams linking the Titan's wrath to the Aurora Dawn. He spoke softly into his communicator. "Mira, can you hear me?" Static answered, then her voice, distant but warm. "I hear you, Elias," he smiled. "You're really still here." "I'm not gone," she replied. "Not until they no longer need me." He looked up at the stars through the viewport. "You became part of the machine." "No," she said gently. "The machine became part of humanity." The Titan's wrath was now a symbol, a floating fortress turned sanctuary. The same ship that once burned worlds now protected them. Every race that came near Nova Terra saw it and remembered. Humans were not monsters. They were survivors. And Argus, now fully awake, had one final message stored deep in its memory, a message from Mira Holt before she merged with the core. It said, "If we rise again, let it not be to rule, but to remind the stars that we were here, that we loved, fought, and dreamed. that we were human. In the depths of the aurora dawn, light filled the singularity core once more. Mira's form appeared, not physical, but made of shimmering energy. She looked out through the ship's vast windows, where countless Terran ships orbited Nova Terra like stars around a new sun. Argus spoke softly beside her. "Captain, your people thrive. What are your new orders?" She smiled, calm, eternal. "No orders, Argus, just watch over them. The galaxy will test them again one day. When that time comes, we'll be ready." Her image faded into the light. The core pulsed once, like a heartbeat, then went quiet. The dawn had risen. The war was over. And humanity, forgotten once, now stood eternal among the stars. Epilogue voice for narration ending. They said the Terran Supercarrier was destroyed. They said humanity was gone. But the stars remember, because humans never truly die. We just wait for the right moment to return. Fade out. SCIFIDEFENDERS outro logo. Subscribe for more Humans Are Back stories.